Congratulations, Brad. That was a really spirited effort, wasn't it, from all 17 players?
Yeah, it was a tough win. They're the sort of wins that you really enjoy and you're proud of as a coach. Anything that could go wrong for us in terms of positionally did. Losing Frawley early and he's at 8 stitches and they tried to rule him out, but he toughed it out and we needed him to come back out there, especially once we lost Crofty. Gano went from the left to the right, back to the middle, all over the joint. Keenan had to play 65 minutes straight as a middle forward, starting front row. It's a big effort. Probably only planned to play Jared for 20 minutes his first game back. So they're the sort of wins that bring the group together, and it's also a bit of confidence for them and proof that if you work hard in the pre-season, it's not always going to go that way. But when you need to draw on it, and they're a good football side, and they tested us and. Even at the back end there, they made a couple of good long line breaks and we managed to get our whole team back behind the ball and get our line set to scramble. When the contest was probably in our favour and done, we still managed to do that. So they're the bits that please me.
You reacted obviously really well to when things went against you. The early trying and the 2 injuries, that must have been pretty good.
It was a big improvement from last week because I feel like last week, we chased the scoreboard and we didn't stick to, we didn't back ourselves enough that, we just stuck to what we needed to do, and you do it for 80 minutes, you'll come out on top. And, and I didn't think we were horrible last week. They were probably better than us and controlled the game better. We just chased the scoreboard a bit too much.
How are the injured guys? We saw them both on the bench.
Crofty's in good spirits, which is great. Obviously he'll have to miss a week minimum because of the protocols, but his health is probably our priority at the moment. But he seems in really good headspace at the moment. Cam, I don't know. He's not optimistic about his injury, so and Frawley has got 8 stitches in his hand. He'll just have to manage that and toughen up and get it done for us next week.
With Smith, was it an ankle?
Yeah, he's just got some weight on the back of it and said he heard a pop or a crack, so I don't know. It's pretty swollen. I don't think it's good.
How good was Palacia for you today?
Yeah, he's pretty good, wasn't he? Yeah, he's pretty good. Took some tough carries. He's got good footy finesse. He understands the game good, and he got through a lot of minutes. And he was one of those guys. I probably was going to push him out that 80 minutes, but just as a bit of a challenge for him, because it would have been good for him as a bit of a challenge, to keep that detail at the back end of a long stint as a front rower. And I challenged him on that at the start of the second half, and he done a really good job. It's easy for him to get a bit sloppy or loose, but he didn't do that. But we had that long chase back, and we still had 4 changes up our sleeve. So I thought, get him off and put him back on at the end.
Morgan Gallen's made a very strong return, hasn't he? After
not a bad player, is he? Pretty good. Yeah. He's still. We don't want to rush him. I don't know a lot about his history in terms of, but I know he's had a lot of time off and he can play. So we just need to be patient and slowly, and that's why he was on at second interchange today, and but he's working towards pushing himself for a starting spot, and he can play a few different positions for us. And he understands the game pretty good.
And just finally from me, a word about your young winner. You say a couple of tries.
Riley.
Yeah,
it's great for a minute. He's tough kid.
Yeah,
true. Yeah. But you talk about Hawley. He's such a professional. Like, he's 36, 37 years old, and he's a credit to himself. And a good example for our young blokes that if you look after yourself and you do the right thing, like ages doesn't mean anything. But with Riley, he's a tough kid, and he's got a couple of things wrong defensively last week and a couple of things today, but he's learning, and that's what's going to happen with, they don't get experience unless you give them experience. Can't give him experience by setting him on the sideline. So he's going to have some days where he's going to get a few things wrong, but it's all part of his learning and developing. But one thing I like about him, he's tough.
You left your seat to go down and shake James Bedley's hand when he came off. What did you say to him? He's
He's a tough character. He's one of those guys you need in your team. And you know, I've been challenging him about just his not letting his emotions get control of his head. You know, and he's still like he's one of those guys that just wants to win and wants to compete. And you need blokes like him in his team. So he's getting better at it. And like on his day when he's very good, he's very good. And you know, look, he's had some issues around his discipline, so we just still working on it. But it's important that when he gets it right, I recognise that, even though he lost his cool a little bit there, but he managed to put himself back around, and maybe in the past he hasn't been able to do that. So, step in the right direction for him, and he's so tough. He was after about 15 minutes, he was hobbling around, but there's you know he just knew that he needed to stay there for his teammates. So, I just want to thank him for that.
Obviously, Brodie's injury looked very worrying as we were sat watching him being treated on the pitch. How much of a relief is it that, all being well, touch wood, he's going to be okay?
Yeah, when you've got a player down that long, you know, I'm here to try and win games of footy, and that's what I love to do. But we want to make sure the blokes are their health and you know their health's their priority. And touch wood, I think he's okay. So yeah, so that's pretty important. You know, and I'm probably got some family who would have been concerned about him, but everything's all right, I think.
Just on that, you said that they tried to rule him out. What actually went on?
On Sunday?
You know, with Matt Frawley,
yeah.
They tried to rule him out, but he refused, essentially.
Oh, it was pretty bad gash, and like ordinarily we probably should have, but he's tough. He wanted to play, he wanted to get out there for his mates. You know, the stitches split open again during the game, as you can see, and so we had to find some tape and just tape it up. So, yeah, look, it's not life-threatening or anything like that, and it's only a hand, but it's pretty hard. He's got to catch the ball, catch the kick, and he's done a pretty good job for us, mate.
How much credit does he deserve? He gets some grief at times as Matt, but
you know what his job for the team is? He's nice and calm, he's a steady influence, he knows the game plan really well, he understands it, and he just allows the other guys to do their job, and that's what his job is. And so whenever he continues to do that, you know, like he'll be our number 7.